Anyone else been going to the movie theater less in the past recent years? I used to be huge into movies. Like, I'm talking about I had multiple memberships at multiple theaters, and I would go watch a movie every single week. And I even got into the MoviePass timeline. You guys remember MoviePass? For those who don't, it's basically a physical card that you get, and you pay $8 a month for it, and you can watch any movie you want at a physical movie theater location. Yes, $8 a month to watch a movie at a physical place. I'm not talking about Netflix. You pay $8 online and you go to a physical place, you go to the ticket salespeople, you show them your MoviePass card, and you pick a movie and you swipe it, and then you go and watch it. And you can do that over and over again for multiple times a month. Hey, that sounds too good to be true. Is that actually real? Why, yes. Yes, it was very real. Except a deal that insanely good wouldn't last, and MoviePass went on to eventually limit the amount of movies you can watch in a month to 3. Then they only let you watch a movie that was on a pre-approved list that they sent out, until they went down in flames after only a few months. Except they somehow didn't and continued operating, even though no movie theaters were taking the physical MoviePass anymore. Turns out bankruptcy doesn't really mean anything and is really just an enigma. Anyway, I used to be huge into movies, and honestly, I'm just not anymore. This year, I only watched 4 movies: Captain America, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and Superman. And I don't really have any interest in watching anything else because I feel like I know what I'm gonna get out of watching those 4 movies I just listed. I'll get a chill, fun, eventful time, or maybe all 3 of them. Superhero movies are a safe watch, so I can go to them at least knowing what kind of experience I'm gonna have. With everything else, it's tougher because I don't know what experience I'm gonna have. Is it gonna be terrible? Is it gonna be decent, but maybe something I'm not really into? It's okay to have watched a seemingly good movie and not like it, you know? For me, it was The Irishman. What if it's a movie like that? A movie that's highly anticipated, but I ended up thinking it was lukewarm. But superhero movies are safer, just like with reboots and remakes. And I don't watch those just out of principle because I feel like studios are milking them at this point. But for the regular moviegoer who wants to go have a good time at the movie theater, of course they're gonna go watch that reboot or remake, even if it's terrible. They probably don't even care if it's trash, because the only thing they care about is the nostalgic feeling they get from watching something so familiar in live action. And listen, I get it. I get it. You're probably thinking, dude, you are the problem with the movie industry. You feed studios who make superhero movie schlock, and we get quantity over quality because you keep watching the mid superhero movies. And to that I say, you're right. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, you have to understand, the reason I watch a safe movie is because going to a movie theater costs too much time and money now. I want to watch a movie I know for a fact is gonna be worth the time I spend watching previews and now ads. It's gonna be worth the money I spend on higher ticket prices, because if the movie turns out to suck, or maybe I just don't have a good time, then that's 3 hours and $20+ down the drain. And what someone does with their time and money is their decision to make. You know, it's okay to watch the Sonic movie and then not watch anything else for the next few months. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the cost of time and money now is kind of funneling people into making the decision to watch something that they know they're gonna have a good time coming out of. Like if Midsommar came out today, like, it's a good movie, but it's also a feels bad movie. It's super anxiety inducing the entire runtime, and you're gonna feel bad coming out of it, even though it's a good movie. People now, with the time and cost to having an experience at the movie theater, it's gonna be tougher to justify watching something so uncomfortable like that, especially for a regular moviegoer. It's gonna be much easier to justify watching something chill, like the Minecraft movie or Sonic or a superhero movie or a reboot or a remake. The chance of having a good time is much higher watching those kinds of movies rather than something like Midsummer. You might as well maximize your time and money spent at the movie theater by making sure you have the highest chance possible of having a good time. So at this point, we already know what aspects of the theater cost time and money. You know, concessions, ticket prices, any extras like 3D. I think 3D is dead now. 4D, IMAX, things that get you to pay money at the theater, basically. But I'm not going to cover those because we already know about them. However, I'm going to cover how these prices have changed in the past few years. So first of all, concessions. Back in 2019, before the pandemic, my favorite candy, Bunch of Crunch, you know, the chocolate that looks like rabbit poop, it costed $4.50. Now, at the time of recording this video in August of 2025, the same candy is $6.30 at AMC. And for a drink in 2019, it was around the same price for a medium, like $5, which is still a high price in itself. But now it's $7.30 for a regular at AMC. That is a big jump. Half the price of another movie ticket. In the same vein as higher concession prices are higher ticket prices. And I probably should have started with this one, but the reason I didn't was because tickets get you into the movie theater. And when you go with people like, say, friends or maybe your family, you might pay for concessions for the whole group because it's an event. It's not just go to the grocery store and come back, right? It's something you don't do all the time. So you justify that by saying, hey, we don't do this all the time, so it's okay to spend all this money for the group. You add that on top of the ticket prices, which have also been going up. Before the pandemic, ticket prices were $15 in Southern California, but now they're $20 at AMC. And if you buy them online, you get hit with an online processing fee for some reason, as if the online website has a family to feed or whatever. And lots of people get their tickets online because you don't have to talk to anyone. You don't have to wait in any lines. You just buy your ticket online. You go to the theater, you show your stub, get it scanned, and you're done. So you have all that money spent on getting your tickets online and getting food at the concessions. What I think people have started to realize is, hey, wait a minute. I can just rent a movie from Amazon for $4. Or I can just stream a movie on Netflix and have a movie night. There's no online processing fees. I can make my own food. I can invite an entire group of 6 or more people to watch this one movie. And the thing about that is I can choose to rent the first Twilight movie or whatever and show it to, 6 or more people. That's $4 right there. Whereas if you go to a movie theater, every person who shows up has to buy a movie ticket. Every individual person has to have their own movie ticket to watch that movie, and that's $20 per person. So it's way cheaper to stay at home and stream a movie or even rent one now. It's just getting harder to justify going to the theater when so much time and money is taken up, especially when you don't know for a fact if the movie is going to be good or if a movie is going to be a cultural event. What do I mean by cultural event? Well, to give an example, back when Avengers Endgame came out, we had a group of friends, right, that included a couple people that were indifferent to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They didn't like the movies, they didn't hate them either. They were just like, they were whatever. But they came and watched this movie simply because they knew it was a big cultural event. They didn't care if the movie was bad. They didn't care if the movie was good. The only thing they really cared about was having a good time and hanging out with everybody. And that's why superhero movies are so popular, is because you kind of already know what to expect and that they're gonna be at least somewhat of a cultural event. And the familiarity or degree of eventfulness of a movie is a reason for plenty of people to go and watch a movie. Okay, so what about when you spent the money to go into the movie theater? When you go in, you're met with longer preview times now, especially for AMC. It used to be 10 minutes of previews for all movies, and for high traffic movies like Avengers or Superman, those would get 15 minutes of previews. Okay, makes sense. Tons of people go to those, and you want to market the other movies that are coming out, so you show a few extra previews in those high traffic movies. It's just 5 minutes, you know, it's okay, it's whatever. Except now previews are 20 minutes long at minimum for even a random movie. Okay. And now they're showing straight up ads alongside previews. Like, I watched Fantastic Four when it came out, and they showed us straight up an ad for Indeed, a freaking job searching website. And you know those kinds of ads and their stupid humor. Oh, what kind of salary are we talking about? It's a competitive salary. Oh, like how competitive? It's competitive. And some guy in my theater laughed at it, and I'm just like, what the hell just happened? I got shown an ad by Indeed, a freaking job searching website, which, by the way, if you're a politician watching this video, you might want to do something about the job situation because the economy is kind of collapsing, especially if you saw the jobs report put out by the Federal Reserve in July, which issued a correction because they reported a jobs count that actually overshot the real number by 10 times. But what do I know? I'm just a random jackass on the internet. It's not my area, but you know, I just thought I'd throw that out there. So anyway, you stack 10 more minutes of ads on top of the previews that already saw an increase in length, which totals up to 30 minutes before the movie actually starts. And if you watch a big ticket movie like Superman, then that's 40 minutes before the movie actually starts. And listen, I don't mind if movies show ads. You know, they gotta pay the bills after all. They don't make that much money off of ticket sales. I think movie studios take 50% of the revenue that they make. So, you know, they gotta pay to keep the lights on and the movie theaters functioning. So, you know, it's cool, but at the same time, I have to wait 30 to 40 minutes to watch a movie. Don't you think that's a little bit too much, movie theaters? You gotta think of us sometimes too, you know? Sure, you can get some people to come in and pay extra to watch 4D and IMAX, but still, 30 to 40 minutes is a lot. Because guess what? I used to come in early to the theater times so I can catch the previews, because, you know, I like previews. They're fun to watch, and maybe you'll see something interesting that you might want to watch later down the line. I don't do that anymore because I don't want to wait so long. And now I've actually started showing up late to the movie times. When Fantastic Four first came out, the start time was 2 o'clock. Usually I would leave at like 1:40. I'm gonna get there and catch the previews. But now, you know what time I left? The movie started at 2. I left at 2 o'clock. I left at the start time. And you know what happened? I still made it on time. For the movie, you ask? No! I made it on time for the late previews! And why does AMC insist on showing us that stupid ass AMC ad? We're literally sitting in an AMC. You don't have to show us an ad to get us to an AMC. The main goal of an ad is to get us to purchase or engage with that product. If I am sitting in a seat that is inside of a theater, that is inside of a lobby, that is inside of a building, that is the property of AMC, then guess what? I am engaging with AMC by being inside of an AMC. And oh my God, what is that Nicole Kidman ad? First of all, thank God that they shortened the length, because before it was like 6 or 7 minutes long. And feel free to correct me, because I'm pretty sure I'm undershooting here. Second of all, it's an AMC ad. The first AMC ad was the movie showing us how crystal clear the picture is and how high quality the screen is. I fucking punched my camera again. God damn it. Let's try that again. The theater showing us how crystal clear the picture is, how high quality the screen is. And I'm just like, don't you think I know that? I have eyes, okay? I'm looking at the screen. You don't think I can absorb how high quality the screen is. You really think I can't do that? I can see with my eyes the quality of the screen. And back to the Nicole Kidman ad. She kind of just walks around. She glazes AMC and its theaters, and every time I see that ad, I think, when was the last time Nicole Kidman set foot in an AMC theater? What does she think about sitting in a pre-show for half an hour with people scrolling TikTok with maximum brightness, despite them being in a dark room, and them munching on their crispy popcorn and crunching on chicken tenders, dunking them in the ranch, in the cup holder that is shared by two people, because that's how the seating is in AMC's theaters. Yeah, they're love seats basically, but they're separated by an armrest, which if you go and watch a movie with a significant other or someone you're on a date with, then it's cool, you know, lift it up and now you're closer. But if you go alone, you are one brave stranger away from sharing a close environment with someone you don't know. Maybe they decide that they hate armrests and they lift it up, and now you are left exposed to the elements that are comprised of crispy chicken shrapnel coming your way, all while the movie still hasn't started yet. Has Nicole Kidman ever thought of that situation? This is the dumb shit I think about. If I had millions of dollars, I'm pretty sure I would never set foot in an AMC. I would rather go to one of those premieres where the cast and crew go and watch the movie, or wherever the red carpets are. Or I would get a sweet ass in-home theater setup where I can have just a couple people watch the movie with me, or I can just sit there alone and watch the movie in peace without the 30 to 40 minute preview show. AMC isn't the only one though. Cinemark and Regal also have really long preview times, but AMC gets the most attention because they're the ones sending out statements, and articles are getting written about them because they're saying, hey, we're gonna increase the preview time. And actually recently they said they're gonna think about decreasing the preview time. And then even more recenter, they said that they are going to decrease the preview time. So at this point, why even go to a movie theater anymore? It costs more money than ever to get into the theater. If you want to buy food and snacks for the 3-hour endeavor, it's going to be even more money. And now it takes even more time than ever because of the ads being added alongside the previews, and the previews themselves getting increased in length. Especially when a lot of these issues are solved by just sitting at home and streaming movies, or waiting for a movie that comes out to streaming months later. So what's the point of going to the theater? Well, like I mentioned before, going to a movie theater is a cultural event. The thing that's kind of weird right now about society is that we're kind of getting more and more separated as time goes by because of the prominence of the internet and near infinite ways to kind of keep yourself occupied at home. You know, you got video games, you got streaming movies and shows at home. Why go to the movie theater when there's so much to do at home than ever before? And it's also easier to do so. Like I mentioned, you can play video games, you can stream movies and shows, but you can also be productive at home. You can learn a lot of stuff. You can learn a new language on your phone by using Duolingo at your fingertips. You can learn a new recipe by watching YouTube on your TV. You can play games all day with the internet connection you pay for already, or the console you paid for once. You can learn how to be unemployed by learning how to code on Udemy. Because with going to a movie theater, it is an experience. It gets us out of our home bubbles, out of our work bubbles, out of our internet bubbles, and you go somewhere and you have this experience, be it friends, family, or maybe even a date. It gets us out of those bubbles and brings us back together in a unified way. It's almost like going to a convention or a concert, except it's way more chill, except if you went to a screening of Minecraft at the wrong time. But the fact still remains, it's an event where you have an experience. The environment, the smell of the popcorn, the people you go with, the enhanced experience with surround sound and larger screens, the huge movie that comes out and is going to be the talk of the town for the next few weeks, which brings people together for discussion or just to spectate with one another. All of that is why people keep going to the movie theater despite the increases in the cost to time and money. However, another fact remains. The fact that this happens way less often because of the increases in the cost to time and money. Like I described in the intro, I don't go to the movies weekly anymore. I only go a couple times a year now, actually. I went 4 times this year because I actually just started doing YouTube. So that's actually the only reason I started going more. But even still, that's 4. That's 4 times I went this year. And I'm pretty sure that Fantastic Four, a movie that came out in late July, is going to be the last movie I see in the theaters this year. So both of these facts can be true at the same time, and they are. And it's a tough situation. I don't really have a solution to this because I'm just one dude. I can only really offer reasons as to why I think these increases to time and money cost are happening, like the acceleration of inflation, streaming movies being as easy as they've ever been before. Why take a risk at spending $20 when you can just wait for a movie to come out on streaming a few months later? And if you don't like the movie that you're watching on the streaming platform, you can just click away from that movie 20 minutes in, and then you can watch another movie. I don't have a solution to any of these. I can't just tell Disney, hey, you might want to, make your movies more exclusive. Wait a year or even more to put your movie on streaming. Like Fantastic Four, don't put it on streaming a few months later. Put it on in 2027 or something. It's gonna feel more like an event if it's more exclusive that way. But they won't listen. It's Disney. They need to justify people staying subscribed to their platform, despite it being nothing but filler, nostalgia, and stuff we've already seen before. It's gonna be interesting to see how the landscape shifts in the next couple years. Do I think movie theaters are gonna die? No. People have been saying that for the past 20 years. Same thing with superhero movies. And we keep having the same conversation every year, and they forget about it for some reason. Like, things will change. Don't get me wrong. How much will they change? I don't know. But theaters are not going to face an end anytime soon. Anyway, feel free to share any stories that you might have, or any solutions to these issues, or just anything in general. Thanks for watching, lads and lassies. I'll see you later for a Madame Web video that nobody asked for. Bye.